Men don't cry. Women are bad drivers. Women are supposed to wear Western formals to be seen as successful. Men are not supposed to be vulnerable. Men are the breadwinners. We've heard about these a lot of times, haven't we? Behind the closed doors of our homes, so many times, very unspoken, but these statements are made, heard, interpreted, implemented in different ways. You would have heard your parents. We would have heard friends. The society expects us to conform. The society expects us to live a life that we're supposed to live. But when the society does that to us, it robs us of our authorship, of authoring our own life. We did some survey, what you see behind you. We asked over 45,000 people, have they ever faced microaggression? Have they ever faced micro-inequities? Have they ever been told to behave in a certain way? As you can see, majority of this population said, yes, we have. We then asked them, what are the kind of micro-inequities you faced? And if you see behind me on the data, you will see majority of them faced micro-inequities based on gender, followed by the position or the designation they carry, which means people expect you to behave in a certain way because of the gender you have or because of the position or the title you have. So, a leader, a diplomat, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a school teacher, we are expected to play the roles that are given to us. But who are we in reality? It's interesting to know that we are a sum total of all of these. A mother, a daughter, a friend, an entrepreneur, a speaker, and each one of them define me at different points in time. So can you really say that I am any one person? Now let's see what are the barriers that stop us. We started from some of those gender-related ones, right? Men are not expected to cry, or women are not expected to be aggressive or loud. The number of times I have been told, you cannot be loud, you need to tone down your voice. You cannot behave in a certain way. You're supposed to wear certain kinds of clothes to be accepted. Oh my God. I'm sure many of you would have faced that. What is interesting is, in today's generation, in 2025, while nobody says these things, implicitly they are understood. Implicitly you're told how you're supposed to behave. You may not realize that at that very moment, but the choices you make tell you. So let's see, what are the personal barriers we have? Personal barriers include the family we've been born into, the financial situation we have as a family, professional barriers. Somebody else has a more senior position or a junior position, or systemic barriers like pandemic very recently. They decide the choices we make and they decide who we are. It's very interesting that we don't realize how some of these things also make us think differently. Again, very implicitly. Nobody tells us. Nobody tells us why you need to come to school in a uniform. It's understood. Nobody tells us why you're supposed to drive a car at a particular speed. It's there on the board. But have you ever asked, why do I need to drive at 50 on this road and 70 on that road? Do we question? We don't. We just take it for granted. That's how it's supposed to be. What is concerning is we have not been taught to question. We have been taught to take things exactly how they are, at their value, at face value. Now let's see who people are in general. Karpman came up with something called as a drama triangle, and he said that people generally behave out of three broad positions. One, They say that we are victims. Oh, this has not happened. I'm feeling helpless. I can't do this. I have no choices. Or they are villains. I am stuck in my barriers because of something that somebody else has done. It's all your fault. Or your fault. My father didn't provide me with support. My mother didn't get me to that particular venue. My friends didn't give me what I wanted. And then there is something like hero that for me to feel good, I decide to then say, okay, let me help somebody. Let me be this nice person. I'm going to help people. I'm going to feel nice about myself. We have to think why and how all these things join together. So they join together because we are saying there's a society that asks us to conform to things. There are barriers, personal, professional, that stop us from really being ourselves. The conformities and the society and the barriers force us to behave in a particular way, even without us realizing who we are. The drama triangle makes us behave in a certain way. And as I said, it robs us of our authorship because we really don't know why we are doing what we are doing. So what do we need to do? We need to have emotional intelligence, which forces us to connect to people. And I'm using the word forces because if you really strive to be emotionally intelligent, you will do a person-to-person connect. And you will understand why the person is behaving the way the person is. What lies behind every statement a person makes? What lies behind the fact that I'm standing here and talking the way I'm talking? So what lies behind the layers of the person? Emotional intelligence also forces us to understand what our real strengths are, not the ones that the society has told us. Oh, you're confident. Oh, you're thin. Oh, you're tall. Oh, this is what you can do. You can be a lawyer. You can be a doctor. Much before the society has defined those roles for us. Who are we? And those strengths are what is important. And the third thing that is very important is relationship building, which comes out of emotional intelligence. Actually, both of these come out of emotional intelligence. Understanding people and connecting to them at a soul level. Now let's see what are some of the things we can do to break those barriers, to bridge those barriers and be a person who we really are. We need to be self-aware. And as I said, self-awareness, not at the level of self-awareness as to what are my choices. Self-aware, why am I making the choices that I'm making? Self-aware, why do I like people? Why do I like certain people? Why do I not like certain people? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Because if you're self-aware and you start reflecting, what are the patterns I'm making? Do we realize that we make patterns every single day? The friends we have, the choices we make, the people we speak to, the food we eat, the places we go, there is a very underlying theme in everything we do on a daily basis. So reflection, what are the patterns we are making? Alignment, which is most important. Unless you are self-aware, you cannot have alignment. Unless you're self-aware, you don't know what I'm doing and where I'm supposed to go. And the biggest thing of bridging your barriers is, and moving from the conformities of the society is, to align yourself and truly believe in what you're doing. Truly believe in why am I standing here. Truly believe in why am I reaching out to somebody. Truly believe in why do I want to know my strengths. And that alignment is very important. Sorry. And then, reimagining a future which is different. A future which is outside the boundaries of the society, a future that talks about who we are, a future that's not driven by what happens behind closed doors. My own personal story, I come from a background where I was given all the luxuries of life, so I don't have a story that I can say that, oh, it was, a very tough life. No, it wasn't. And I'd be lying if I say that it was. But when we start talking about reimagining, we also realize that when we started 20 years, 30 years back, I had no idea I'll be standing here. So imagining what the future can be and imagining what the future can happen, going back, if I know my strengths, if I do great relationship building, if I understand that I am the author of my life, It's one life, and what I do is in my hand. I am the protagonist of where I will go tomorrow. Nobody else is. And so that defines where we are going to go. And eventually that leads to evolution. One of the things that I really strongly believe is that when people become self-aware, when people really evolve, they compete with each other, not out of competition, but to connect. They reach out to each other with love rather than against each other. And when that happens, we see a very different side of humanity. We see a side of humanity that wants to connect, that wants to evolve, that wants to grow. And we are able to create a world where knowledge is more easily accessible, where you can actually reach out to people and you know there are people out there. My own personal stories have been of collaboration. My own personal stories have been where people have come together to make me where I am. And one must understand a lot of this comes from self-awareness. Yet again, putting emphasis on that is very, very important. So it is up to you to decide who you are. Once the titles are taken away, the roles are taken away, all the noise that we have around us is taken away. Who are we? Behind those titles, behind the designations. And if we really understand who we are, that's exactly when we are able to make a change. So the journey is yours, the decision is yours, the road is yours. What's the story you want to make? What's the barrier you want to break? What's the bridge you want to build? Entirely up to you. Thank you.